Good day, everyone. I am Kenjoy Kabilbigan, together with Crystal and Joy Kalar of BSED English 3A. Our topic is all about Module 4, Unit 3, entitled Discourse and Context. Objectives. The learners will be able to, first, to understand the discourse and context. Second, to identify the relationship between discourse and context. Third, to apply the discourse and context in real-life situation. So what is a discourse? Discourse refers to a unit of language longer than a single sentence. According to our research, the word discourse is derived from the Latin prefix dis, meaning away, and the root word courier, meaning to run. Discourse, therefore, translates to run away and refers to the way that conversations flow. To study discourse is to analyze the use of spoken or written language in a social context. Therefore, discourse studies look at the form and function of language in conversation beyond its more grammatical pieces, such as phonemes and morphemes. This field of study, which Dutch linguist Toon van Dijk is largely responsible for developing, is interested in how larger units of language, including lexemes, syntax, and context, contribute meaning to conversation. Therefore, discourse analysis is a research method for studying written or spoken language in relation to its social context. It aims to understand how language is used in real-life situations. What is context? The context is the idea or the events is the general situation that relates to it and which helps it to be understood by Collins Schofield Dictionary 1995. Context means the setting of a word or event. If your friend is furious at you for calling her your worst enemy, remind her that the context of those remarks was opposite day. So context comes from the Latin for how something is made. It was first used to talk about writing, as in the beautiful phrase occurs in the context of concluding paragraph. We use it now to talk about any circumstance in which something happens. You might say that you can't understand what happens without looking at the context. When someone takes your words but makes it sound like you meant something else, they've taken your words out of context. So we have here the definitions and examples of discourse, like the definition of Hinkle and Photos 2001. Discourse in context may consist of only one or two words, as in stop or no smoking. Alternatively, a piece of discourse can be hundreds of thousands of words in length, as some novels are. A typical piece of discourse is somewhere between these two extremes. Second definition is from Henry and Tator 2002, states that discourse is the way in which language is used socially to convey broad historical meanings. It is a language identified by the social conditions of its use, by who is using it and under what conditions. So language can never be neutral because it bridges our personal and social worlds. Context and topics of discourse. The study of discourse is entirely context dependent because conversation involves situational beyond just the words spoken. Oftentimes, meaning cannot be extrapolated from an exchange merely from its verbal utterances because there are many semantic factors involved in authentic communication. The study of discourse can involve matters like context, background, information, or knowledge shared between a speaker and a hearer. So next is the subcategories of discourse. Discourse can be used to refer to particular contexts of language use, and in this sense, it becomes similar to concepts like genre or text type. For example, we can conceptualize political discourse or the sort of language used in political contexts, or media discourse or the language used in the media. In addition, some writers have conceived of discourse as related to particular topics, such as an environmental discourse or colonial discourse, such as labels sometimes suggest a particular attitude towards a topic. Example, people engaging in environmental discourse would generally be expected to be concerned with protecting the environment rather than wasting resources. Related to this, Foucault defines discourse more ideologically as practices which systematically form the objects of which they speak. Overall, we have talked about the definition, classification, and role of context in discourse analysis from different aspects. However, the list can certainly go on as further study depends. In a word, context plays a very important role in discourse analysis. A discourse and its related context are in a real relationship. The discourse elaborates its context, and the context helps interpret the meaning of utterances in the discourse. So, the knowledge of context is a premise of the analysis of a discourse. When we study and analyze a discourse, we should bear in mind that no context, no discourse, and we should not neglect the related context of a discourse. Context is the physical environment in which a word is used. It is the physical and cultural condition in which the text came into being. So, we can define discourse analysis as a study of the relationship between language and context in which it is used. So, it examines how stretches of language, considered in their full textual, social, and psychological context, become meaningful and unified for their users. So, any meaning should be analyzed not only within the linguistic system but also within the social system in which it occurs. We cannot rely on language alone when analyzing meanings. We must take into account what surrounds the language immediately. Examples: social norms, culture, mentality, hidden intentions, and pragmatic elements such as tone, intonation, facial expression, gestures, etc. All of them form a context of situation in which the language was used, and we will not give adequate interpretation of the language without them. So, the universe of discourse, which is the total context of facts, things, relations, ideas, and etc., implied or assumed in a given discussion or discourse, is very important when analyzing meanings.